What's up, replay viewers? Quick scope from the Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D.C., USA. Beautiful evening in the nation's capital. Thank you, Judy. 65 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. Mr. Cherry in the house with Honest Abe here at the Lincoln Memorial. Night scope's always tricky because I'm not sure how the quality is on the always questionable Periscope app. Hey, Twin Mom, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see my good friend Mr. Cherry from the 305. And we'll keep it on Abe for a few minutes. My pleasure. And then we'll turn around and go outside to check down the mall towards the Washington Monument. Honest Abe looking good in the evening light. You can't beat Honest Abe from my home state of Illinois, the land of Lincoln, everybody. Honest Abe and oh wow, that's cool. I'm visiting D.C. from last night till tomorrow. Volunteer with Honor Flight Group. We had 85 veterans and 85 guardians up here touring D.C. today from Southeast Florida. I decided to hang around for the evening. I'll go back home to South Florida tomorrow. Let's step back, give the other folks a view, and we'll look down the mall towards the Washington Monument and the Capitol. Lots of folks out on a nice evening in the district. I'm going to get some, hopefully some stability here. Yeah, I'm up here 5 or 6 times a year. Always nice. Lincoln Memorial directly behind me, and symmetrically Washington Monument and the Capitol building right in front of me. If you went to the Washington Monument and made a left, you would see the White House, and between the monument and the nation's capital would be the World War II Memorial. To the left, the Korea and Vietnam memorials. Nice evening, 68 Fahrenheit, or excuse me, 65 now Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. As we look east. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming by. Haven't scoped that much recently, but maybe I'll become a bit more active. And as long as I'm in D.C. for the weekend, I figured why not. Never really sure, even with the image stabilization, how night scopes do on Periscope. B-Duder, hello. Washington Monument directly in front of me, the nation's capital, a little blurry behind it. And between us and the memorial, or excuse me, between us and the Washington Monument would be the World War II Memorial directly ahead, the Vietnam Memorial to our left, and the Korean Memorial to our left as well. Hey, thanks for inviting followers. I appreciate it. My pleasure. I'll swing around slowly again, give everybody a view back of Honest Abe here at the Lincoln Memorial. And if I go a little to the left, we'll see the nation's capital down the way, outside of the shadow of the Washington Monument. Thank you. Let these folks get their pictures. And let's go by this column. And to the left of the Washington Monument, the dome of the nation's capital. So we've got the reflecting pool on the National Mall, the World War II Memorial, Washington Monument, and the U.S. Capitol building. Nice reflection. I'm going to go from portrait to landscape just because my hands are getting tired, and maybe we'll get a more stable view. So hang on. There we go. Very comfortable spring evening in Washington. 65 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. Gorgeous night. Lots of folks out. They had a parade earlier for the Cherry Blossom Festival. And then that was this morning, and another parade mid-afternoon for what they celebrate each year in D.C. on the 15th, Emancipation Day. So, in fact, businesses are closed in D.C. on April 15th, Tax Day. So, gorgeous night. And let me just, we'll go back and see Honest Abe before I close out. I don't want to be disingenuous to the title of the scope, since I am standing at the Lincoln Memorial. So we'll get a few more shots of Honest Abe in all his glory. Beautiful monument here. Hey, hello, thanks for coming by. Our good friend Rebecca from Honolulu. Rebecca, I'm here in D.C. for the weekend, and I'm never quite sure how clear night scopes would be, but decided to stop by the Lincoln Memorial and do a quick scope. And for artistic glory, I guess, we'll go from landscape to portrait, and then I'll swing around and we can look down the reflective pool of the National Mall towards the Washington Monument and the Capitol. So hang on. All right. Rebecca, thanks so much for inviting and sharing. Appreciate it. I'm debating whether to get back into scoping a little bit more. You never know. Rob from Oakville, hello. Rebecca, glad to see majors growing up. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming in. All right, here you have your Honest Abe from my home state of Illinois. Yeah, he sure is. And we'll swing around and get a symmetrical view down the mall, the reflective pool, to the Washington Monument. Oh, sorry, bud.
There's also
Oop, hang on. There we go. I still get a little non-clarity with these night scopes, but I guess, hey, it's best Periscope can do. So, reflective pool looking east. Between us here at the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument at like water level, the lights going crossways would be the World War II Memorial. To the left are the Korea and the Vietnam memorials. And I'm gonna pan north, and behind the Washington Monument we'll see the dome of the U.S. Capitol. So hang on, don't adjust your TVs. But it's symmetrical here, courtesy of I think it's Henri L'Enfant who came up with the design for D.C. So hang on, I'm going to try to zoom at nighttime, which is a mystery in all its own. But to the left of the Washington Monument, you could see the dome of the U.S. Capitol. Washington Monument, the obelisk with the light on top. Between the monument and where we're standing, the lights going across would be the one side of the World War II Memorial, reflective pool, and where we're at now, the Lincoln Memorial. So I get up here 4 or 5 times a year. Today I volunteer with a group that brings veterans up to D.C. to tour their memorials. 4 times a year, honor flight. There are hubs, different places in the country. Veterans fly for free, so if you know a veteran, I suggest that perhaps they or a family member can visit honorflight.org. And if their state or part of the country has an honor flight hub, they too can get a tour of D.C. and the veterans fly for free. It's a 97.5% total. Honorflight.org is correct. 97, I believe, 0.4% at the last audit goes back into the organization. The remaining 2.6%, we buy the vets a t-shirt, do some marketing materials, a hat for their trips to D.C. It's one of the cleanest charities, not-for-profits I've ever been involved with. So I've been helping these folks, volunteering since 2011, and it's very rewarding. So I am braced against the column here, so hoping to get as clear a picture as possible, but hey, iPhone 10 and Periscope at night, so we do what we can do. Anyway, I'm going to walk to the side just to give you a scope or a perspective of the columns that I always think are pretty cool. of the structure itself. And then we'll, I'm glad it looks good. Then we'll walk towards the center. Do a quick look back at, here's the Capitol again, at Honest Abe. And then I'll, yeah, the architecture is really pretty cool. And one more scope of Honest Abe. And then Rebecca, if you're ever in D.C., the Pear Martini at the Pear Martinis at the Hay Adams top shelf. Here's our buddy from my home state of Illinois, Honest Abe Lincoln. .65 Fahrenheit, 18 Celsius. Just a gorgeous night in D.C. When the vets arrived from Florida this morning, it was a little rainy, but it cleared up very nicely. So we had a good day. The man on the penny for sure. And then let's get the inscription above. Rebecca's taught me well how to do a complete scope, so let's see what we got here. Abe's inscription: in this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever. Well said, Rebecca, or whoever wrote that. So, Rebecca's dialed in with the quotes. All right, we'll pan around, get the Washington Monument, and I believe I am thirsty. All right, kids. Wow, it's a little blurry from what I'm looking at, so. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in. I do appreciate it. Honorflight.org. If you know a veteran, be well. Back to South Florida tomorrow. Take care, folks. Appreciate it. Have a great Saturday night. Bye-bye.